Hello everybody, I'm just going to give you a quick introduction into changing the look and feel in Java Swing and how this relates to the model view controller architecture behind Java Swing. So I'm just going to create I've created a project, a Java project. I'm going to create a new class called, I'll just call it Swing Test, and I'll make sure that I have my public void main class there. So we did this last week actually, so I've got to make sure that I extend JFrame so that I actually have a frame to build in. Make sure I actually use extends, not extend, and of course the little red dot tells me that I need to import JFrame, which is part of the Swing framework. And of course I now need a constructor for that class, so I'll just create a constructor, public swing test, obviously the same name as the class, and open my brackets, and I'm going to create a basic J button, which I'll call B1. J button is the Swing version of button, and we'll have a message hello world there, and obviously I need to import J button, so just click on the import J button. You know I can do Control Shift and O as a shortcut for all of these imports. It will just Control Shift and O will always do that. And then I just add the component, add B1 at the top. And obviously in my main routine I have to instantiate the main class. So I have to say, I'll just create a variable called myApp, which is a type swing test, which is obviously the main class. And I'll say myApp equals new swing test, and I need to make myApp visible, and I need to give it some sort of size as well. So let's just create a set size, and I'll just create something like 300. It's a nice square application, and that should work actually. So I can just sort of quickly try that. I'll just right click on the Java file there and run as Java application, and click OK to save the file, and there it is. We have a huge JApp. The layout manager obviously creates the default layout is so that the button takes over the whole screen. So I'm going to change the layout. I'm going to say set layout equals new flow layout. I used this last week. Again, I have to import flow layout, and that will just create buttons sort of side by side, flowing through the size of the form, and so we get a much smaller button there, which is a bit better. Okay. Now, what I want to draw attention to is the way that form looks, and this is the strength of the Swing Java Swing framework, because I can actually change the look and feel of applications quite easily. Now, I'm just looking through some this is some documentation on the MVC architecture of Swing, and I've just highlighted here a function called set look and feel. In fact, there's a little code snippet there which will allow me to change the way the application looks. So I'm just going to paste that in, and obviously it's now asking to import UI Manager because it doesn't know what that is, so let's just do that. But it's still complaining about something, and what it's complaining about is basically that I haven't some functions that you call in Java have to have some sort of exception handling, which means if they go wrong, the program needs to be told what to do. Now, in saying surround this with try and catch, I basically asked it to catch all these different things that might go wrong, and you can see what might go wrong. I've got class not found, instantiation exception, illegal access exception, and unsupported look and feel exception. Those are 4 things which can go wrong, and I don't actually need to fill those bits in, but Java just needs to be told how to handle them. Now notice that I've set the look and feel to motif look and feel. Now motif is a user interface which we find very much on Unix operating systems, Linux for example, and you can see it looks different. It looks different to the way that it looked a minute ago, and and actually I can try different sorts of looks and feels. So I'm actually going to do a Google search for set look and feel. I mean, I should say you can't expect to know everything when you're programming, and Google is an absolutely indispensable resource for finding out how to do stuff. So I'm just looking through, and I'm just going to try and play with a different look and feel. Here I've got metal look and feel. You can see what metal looks like. You can see metal is actually pretty much the default sort of Java look. Let's change it again. Let's have a look for a different one. Let's go back. I found a web resource here with all sorts of different looks and feels, and let's change it to Windows. There's Windows look and feel. Okay, so we've had metal, we've had motif, let's have Windows. So I literally paste that class, it's basically a class name there, and see what the Windows look and feel does. Yes, and you can see that that looks like a standard window. I'm working on Vista here, it looks like a standard Vista button. So you can see very easily we can change the whole way the application appears. And the reason this is possible is because of the way that Java Swing is designed. So I've got motif here, I can play with motif again. Let's just go back to motif. There we are, so we're back to motif. But the way that Java Swing is designed is basically the display, the view of the components in Swing is kept separate from the actual data model that sits behind those components. So we can define effectively new ways of handling the viewing part, the visual part, without affecting the basic functionality of the components. I'm just going to demonstrate the difference between Java Swing components and AWT components. Now an AWT component is like a button, so I've defined a button at the bottom here. I don't know if you can see. I'll just scroll down. Let's just try the Windows example again, because you can see that. So again, you can see on the left hand side we've got a Windows button, on the right hand side we've just got an ordinary Java button. The ordinary Java button hasn't been affected by the changes to the layout, so it's only because you see we got a J button B1 and B2 is an ordinary button, okay, or an AWT button. So it's because Java Swing is built with MVC in mind that we have this flexibility over the way that applications can actually be reshaped very simply to meet the requirements of different audiences.